You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Thursday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
King Charles was at Parliament yesterday, giving his big old speech there, and, he wrapped it up and tied it up in a nice little bow by finishing off his speech with this.
As the anthem reminds us, the true North is indeed strong and free.
Which is a beautiful quote there, although I did find it humorous that he was like reading the entire time, like his speech.
Oh, yeah.
And it almost looked like, you know when you see politicians go into like a kindergarten classroom and they read a story?
With this sitting in front of the class, they're reading like Hop on
That's
Pops.
what it looked like to me. He's just sitting there reading all his notes.
I mean, at his age, it's probably for the best to keep him on script. You know, the last thing you want is for King Charles to be sitting up in front of Parliament, going on a Grandpa Simpson-esque style. We called Nichols bees at the time kind of speech.
Oh my God, if he started going on rants like that,
I mean,
be talking about some out-of-pocket stuff, especially with his family's history.
I was going to say, he's from the British
This
royal
used
family.
to all be our land.
He starts freestyling up there.
Do you know how much stuff we stole from everyone? It's crazy. And we still have it.
I keep it in my room.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I feel like if you own a dog, it's mandatory to sing songs to your dog, whether it's about them or you just add their name into famous songs.
I don't know about mandatory, but I mean, there is just something about when you talk to a dog, it's either got to be in a do-do-do-boo-doo kind of voice or it does tend to be in song.
If you don't sing to your dog, you don't love your dog, in my opinion.
Wow.
And, you know, Courtney actually brought this up to me. She said, you make all these songs for the dogs. You should sing some of them on the radio.
Oh.
So to all my fellow dog lovers out there, if you're looking for some tunes to sing to your dog, these ones aren't specifically about my pups. They're just specifically about things that they do.
Okay, so people, you can gather your dogs around the radio. Maybe this will land with them.
For example, sometimes my dog Murphy, she's super lazy and I have to like coax her into like going out for a walk. So I like to sing this to her. Come on, bitch. Let's go for a walk. Go for a walk. Go for a walk. Move. Let's go for a walk. And she loves it.
She's into it?
As soon as I start ludicrousing her, she's up, tail wagging out the door.
Got the tippy taps going?
Yeah. I've got another one that you can use at home for when you're teasing your dogs about giving them a treat or something. We all know Nirvana's The Man Who Sold the World.
Sure.
I consider this The Man Who Controls the Treats. Who wants a bone? Not me, I'm not a stinky dog. Your face to face with the man who controls the treats. And I can't tell if they love these songs or if it's just because I have the treats.
Right,
know?
yeah. It's the way that we'll all act nice if the boss is handing out raises.
Yeah, and then this one, I wonder if my neighbors hear me sing it in the morning because the amount of times that I let my dogs out to go pee before I go to work and they're just taking forever. This one's for all of you that have to deal with that. Please hurry up and pee. I'm late for work. Could you hurry up, please? Sniffing everything like a John Belushi. Hurry up and pee.
Do they ever stop and just look at you, or does this make them come back in the house?
No, they just keep sniffing.
That one's just for you.
That one's just for me.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Teach my dog to go crazy over giving the dog a bone.
Like the AC/DC song?
Yeah. And she kind of gets confused every once in a while when another song comes on. You can just see her ears perk up and she puts her head down.
I mean, that's the tough part of training your dog to an AC/DC song is 900 of them sound kind of the same.
I'm a big fan, so.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll play Giving the Dog a Bone just for your dog. Hopefully she's not at home listening to the radio.
Hopefully she's not listening, because she's going to be disappointed.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I think I have found my new favorite competition.
Okay.
It's called frog jumping. Here, look at my screen.
Inches, we have
Oh, she has a
Brooklyn
frog.
Wagner
Just
with
watch.
Mamma Mia.
Oh my God! What? Poor animal.
So I know most of you can't see what I just showed Dalby. This is from some Florida State Fair. It's the frog jumping competition, which they've been doing for around 50 years. Basically, they have people put a frog on the ground and they scream at it or try and scare it to see how far it can jump. And whoever gets their frog to jump the furthest ends up winning the ribbon.
That's so brutal for the animals. Imagine this frog is just chilling. At the beginning of the video, she's just holding him. He's just happy.
It's a cute little girl, too, and then...
What's that line from Hot Rod? You gotta bring out the devil in me.
I love that so much. Man, at state fairs in the States, they always have these, like, wacky contests. I mean, there's... I forget where it was, but there's the husband yelling contest that we've talked about
Was
before.
that Iowa?
Yeah.
Where they'll be like, Richard.
I feel like our fairs, the only thing you get ribbons for is like biggest pumpkin or like biggest bovine or whatever, right?
Yeah, they'll do some like ag stuff at most Canadian fairs and festivals and stuff like that. Or maybe there'll be like some like crafting, like who can make the best macaroni art for kids.
We need more competitions like this at our fall fairs or fairs just in general. I mean, the husband calling contest, you could do a moose calling contest for Canada.
Oh, absolutely. Just getting out there and bellowing like a moose.
I want to see at the fall fair this year, like a maple syrup chugging contest.
I'm in. I'm 100% in. Honestly, just like food contests of all sorts. Maple syrup chugging, a poutine eating contest. I saw that at a fair once, and I was like, that makes sense.
Or even, I mean, you could take like one crappy car and put it under a tree where there's sap falling, and you have the fastest to take the sap off the car.
I thought you were going to say, you know how some fairs will do that? Like, they'll put a rabbit or a chicken, and wherever it poops in the grid, you win. Put it under the tree, and whichever square gets sap in it first,
bingo, yeah.
that person wins. You could also do one of my favorites that I see a lot in like the Wisconsin area for those fairs is they'll do butter and cheese sculpting.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Do that, but with cheese curds, where you're just like stacking it on top and shaping it like
Trying to
clay.
mold them together.
Get the big wheel out there like the movie Ghost.
Well, even some towns have like winter fairs, shoveling contests.
Dude, yes.
Right?
That would be sick. Everybody gets like a strip of sidewalk and whoever clears theirs first, as determined by like a postman, someone walking along.
Or you could have like a calligraphy contest, have a bunch of guys out there, whoever spells their name the best.
Open to all genders, but generally it's
Sure.
it's a male-dominated
It's a male-dominated sport for
The
sure.
Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Well, a lot of First Nations do. Goose calling is a big one. So I thought of that, like, that's very Canadian.
Goose scaring would be even better.
running through a pile of them.
No, I don't know if you can scare them. They're like watchdogs.
Tough to scare the geese, but what if we take people and pair them off against each other like rap battles, but you're just goose honking and hissing at one another? You try and intimidate your opponent.
Yeah.
That could be pretty entertaining.
That would be sick. We also mentioned that like you could have some like winter carnival type events. Shout out to friend of the show Marty who texted in and alerted us to the snowblower races at the Rimouski Winter Carnival. I saw a video of it. It's just like 12 dudes with their snowblowers just pushing through waist-high snoh. I'm thinking about packing up the Ryobi and heading out there for this
You're
winter.
losing for sure.
Oh, come on.
You're losing for sure. We've got someone else on the line. What's your suggestion, man?
Hi, I thought about what about pushing a Timbit 100 yards with your nose?
Snooting it along the ground.
Yeah.
Or you do that weird thing that football teams do. You tuck the Timbit up between your butt cheeks and see who can carry it the farthest.
No, I don't think that one's going to
There
fly.
you go. Now you got it.
I don't think Tim's will be on board for
The
that.
real chocolate glaze race.
Last place has to eat the box.
Yeah, last place has to eat all the Timbits.
That's it.
Hey, thanks for chatting, man.
Yeah, have a good day.
Honestly, you could do a lot of like, you could just have a Tim Hortons competition related one.
The Tim Olympics?
Yeah, where you have like a bunch of people trying to carry a bunch of hot coffees. And,
especially with the new the lids that are apparently way worse now.
Yeah,
just trying to do like a 100-meter dash.
You weigh them before and after to see how much was spilled, you know?
That's how you get your penalties. Who can order the fastest in the drive-thru?
Yeah.
Every competitor has like a set list of items they have to order.
You could even just have like a Tim's drive-thru Olympics and see like who can clear out the drive-thru the fastest.
Oh, who's inside slinging donuts, pouring coffee?
Yeah, man, yeah.
Just seeing someone working the ice cap machine like it's an art form.
Well, we have the farmers rap contest. We have a bunch of lads on stage.
Yeah.
You give them 2 farmers raps each. You set the timer, and whoever doesn't shart their pants first wins.
You lock the bathrooms.
Yeah.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
There's a bra company called Skims that is going viral right now because they're making a push-up bra that has fake nipple piercings on it. Have a little look-see at this here.
So the idea is you put this bra on, then you put your shirt on.
You can see the piercings.
And it makes it look like you have pierced nipples. This is nipple piercing stolen valor.
Yeah. I don't know who asked for this. They also apparently sell bras that have nipples on them to make it look like you're not wearing a bra.
To make it look like it's cold in here.
Yeah.
The real question is, do they have, because I've heard of Skims before. Like I know, and they do like men's like sack style underwear and stuff like that. Do you think that they have a piercing version for men? Do you think they have, in case you're wearing...
Well, thinking about it now, you know, you always hear about the push-up bra. How come there's, like, not hog-up pants or, like...
Push-out pants?
Yeah.
Push-out boxers?
Yeah. It doesn't seem fair. We live in the year 2025 where everything's supposed to be equal.
Where's my bulge briefs?
Yeah, where's your gray sweats that give you a little bit extra? You know, we've got the Dockers anti-stain pants, but what we really need is the pump-ups.
I mean, these sweats are kind of gray, but they're not really doing anything.
Yeah, we need to get the Reebok pump like little button in there for you, bud.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Do you remember Marie Kondo? I think it was like a Netflix show, or maybe it was like a YouTube thing. Anyway, she was the one that was like, if it doesn't spark joy in your life, throw it out.
Oh, yeah, that lady.
Helping people declutter their homes, working on basically people before they become hoarders. Well, someone has taken her philosophy and updated it for 2025 with what is being called in this new trend, the poop rule.
The poop rule.
And basically what it is if you feel like your house is very cluttered, you have a lot of junk, but you don't know where to start in getting rid of it, just grab any item in your house, look at it, and think to yourself, if this was covered in poop, would I clean it? Or would I throw it in the garbage?
That's actually genius.
The idea being that if it's not worth cleaning from its worst state, then you probably don't need it. It's probably a disposable item in your life.
Do we know whose poop it is, or does that? I guess that doesn't matter. That shouldn't matter. You know what? I take it back. That shouldn't matter.
I'm curious as to that list, but that's a conversation for a different time and a different place. This is funny because this is actually a thing that I feel like resonates with parents. If you are a parent of a small toddler or an infant, they tend to get poop on things. Now, not everything in the house. It's not widespread or anything.
Sure, yeah.
But I feel like up until I had kids, I did not have to think about what something would be like if it was covered in poop.
Yeah.
And since then, I have had to make some decisions of like, well, that's garbage now.
Well, even, I mean, like, how many times do you have a problem with your kids getting rid of their old toys? If you just take them down in the basement and be like, all of this is covered in turd.
That's right.
Which ones do you actually want?
Use the mental trick on your kids. It's so hard to get them to like part with like McDonald's toys, fast food, Happy Meal type toys. Junk that they've gotten for Christmas after Christmas from relatives that don't like you, and show it by giving your kids loud toys.
You can get like really graphic with this kind of stuff. I mean, you can go beyond feces with that. Like, you could even just be like, if all of this was covered in blood, like, what would you want? You know what I mean?
Would you rinse it off? Would you give it a good scrub?
If a murder happened in this room,
right,
what are you keeping?
Would you scrub everything down? Would you get out the bleach, or would you get out the garbage bags? So for anybody who's dealing with a cluttered house today, maybe something worth trying.
If you have a germaphobe that is also a hoarder in your family.
These two things, this is the intersection of those two things.
And then if they still don't get rid of stuff, then you take a poop in that room.
You put it to the
You assert your dominance. like our animal friends do, and you get them to declutter.
The Brock and Dobby Podcast.
I think I got the greatest compliment I've ever received in my adult life.
Oh,
you know
okay.
me, I've been a big lawn guy, right?
Yeah. Ever since you bought this house you're in now, you have really turned into Hank Hill.
3 people in the past week, 3 neighbors have approached me saying, nice grass, man.
Wow.
Grass is looking great. What are you doing with the grass here? What's going on?
Damn.
And I gotta tell you, man, what a beautiful feeling that is. We put in so much. The grass looked terrible when we moved in 4 years ago. We've been putting in some work here. And to have especially like the old guy across the street come over, and he goes, well, what'd you do here?
He's asking for tips.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I felt like a pretty girl.
For the first time in life, you were the belle of the ball.
Oh my God. Felt like a little kid who just found out his crush likes him. Like, it is, what an amazing feeling that was.
This man went from 5'10" to 5'11", just standing up a little straighter.
Oh, especially when Buddy asked for me tips, it made me feel like a man. Like, it's like, I made it, dude.
It is one of those things where, like, you'll drive down a street, and even in your own neighborhood, you'll look and be like, oh, man, these people got it together. There's something about a well-manicured lawn that makes it feel like the inside of the house must be well put together, too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a sign that, like, whoever lives here knows what's going on. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They should be proud of that.
And the only time I've ever, like, felt that compliment is when you're, like, barbecuing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
people compliment you, or like when they're starting up the barbecue and they're like, hey, like, let's get Dalby on the grill. Like, he knows what he's doing. Like,
right? If you're having like a block party or like a big get together, and in the planning phase, someone's like, all right, so we'll get Brock on the grill. He'll do the steaks. You're just like, me? You're talking about me? I'll do it. Sure. Okay.
Oh, just complimenting me on my grass made it feel like they were complimenting like me on my personal appearance, dude. Like, I don't know if that's what it's like to feel being super jacked. I'll never have a 6-pack of abs, but I can have golf green grass, brother.
And you know what? Honestly, one of those things is probably more useful than the other.
The Brock and Dobby Podcast.
As an adult, Sean, what would you say is one of the greatest compliments you can get?
When the old guy that's been doing it forever comes by, has a look at what you're doing, and says, you got that figured out, chum. Carry on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When the old, and everybody thinks he's miserable, but he takes a liking to you. So maybe I'm miserable too. I don't know.
Maybe you've got more in common than you thought.
Maybe.
There's something about having an old timer just bond with you that feels good, you know?
Well, the old saying is, if an old guy comes along, cutting an apple and eating the apple off the knife, take his advice. He knows what he's talking about.
I believe that, brother.
Yeah,
I believe that.
There's just something about it's the experience. Someone who's seen this thing done over and over and over and over again, and you're the one that stands out. You're just like, oh. Yeah,
Sam texted in and says when someone sees your credit score and it's not bad.
That's a good feeling, man. When it's like, wow, that's a big number.
Or even a few people texting in about just doing like work at your home, like a DIY project, and when people come over, they can't find a flaw in it.
The feeling when someone will say, oh, who'd you hire to do this job? Like you went out and got a professional and it was you. It hits like drugs.
I'll
like
say this as like a guy who has like all his friends work in the trade. If I do something and they can't find like one thing to nitpick about it, I'm like, yes.
My favorite one that I think that I saw is the text came in and said, a few years back, I really started getting into the gym. My dad called me one day really concerned, wanted to have a talk with me about whether or not I was on steroids. That is the best compliment I've ever received.
I think you're overlooking the actual best text that came in was from Jared, who said, as an aging gentleman, a compliment that never fails to put a smile on my face is that I've got a killer head of hair.
Hair's overrated. It's fine. Get over it, Jared.
You know what? I've heard you get it before. I think one of the best compliments that any bald guy can get is, you look good bald.
The first time someone told me I got a good shaped head, I was just like, all right, yeah.
It's almost better than having hair, right?
No, it's not.
The Brock and Dobby Podcast.
In Japan, they are leading the way with new legislation. They are passing a bill to restrict what they call flashy baby names. Basically, what it is when you go to name a baby in Japan now, going forward, once this is set in stone, you'll have to submit the name, along with the spelling of it, or how
And they can deny you your child's name?
Basically, they use what they call kanji, which are sort of symbols as part of their writing style. And these symbols can have different meanings. And apparently, Japanese parents are really stretching some of these symbols to mean bizarre things, with the most often cited example being naming kids Pikachu.
Really?
Yeah, so they've decided that they have to crack down. They're even seeing an uptick in ER visits from kids who have these so-called flashy names that would be restricted going forward.
Can we implement this rule here? Because I am tired of meeting girls named Ashley that spell it with the Leigh on the end.
Dude, it's like somewhere along the way we all agreed that, like, okay, if you're an Ashley, you're going to be an ASH. And then we're going to throw just a handful of Scrabble tiles into a bag, and the first 4 that come out is the rest of your name.
I met a guy named Bradley who did the same thing. Like, any of those names that end in Ley, knock it off. Keep it that way.
Right.
All right?
We for years, we had a system. We made it work, and then people wanted to start getting creative with it, and it's your kids that are suffering.
Another one that drives me crazy, is I've seen it a few times, is like Hayden without the Y. Why did you take out the Y?
Oh, just like Haden?
Yeah, Haddon, you
Haddon.
mean? Yeah, that's
sorry.
what that spells.
Sorry, Haddon, but that's your name now.
Or I've seen people add Y to Blake.
Where?
Blayke.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary as hell, dude.
The A is already doing the heavy lifting. The Y is just there for show.
There's so many names that. Oh, Megan. The Megan one that's Meghan. You're Megan. You're Meg. Han Solo is what you are.
Also, there's any of the like Jackson style names where there's a CKS. And parents will replace it with anywhere from 1 to 4 X's, like we're brewing moonshine.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yo, I don't mean to put my buddy on blast. I have a good friend of mine. His name is Connor. But for some reason, his parents decided to spell it Konur.
Konur?
I've been friends with this guy since I was like 16 years old. Love him to death. Hate the spelling of his name. When he calls me or texts me, there's like a small part of me that's like, I'm honestly, thinking about it now, I'm just going to change his name in my phone.
You see the call displayed, you get a little upset with his parents? Oh, Konur is phoning me again.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Some sad news as a legendary rock and roller, Rick Derringer passed away at the age of 77. Now, when you think of Rick Derringer, there's probably 2 songs. Rock and Roll, Hoochie Coo, and then, of course, he is the creator of the Hulk Hogan theme song there.
Which some people will try and tell you that Hulk Hogan created it himself, but that's just because Hulk Hogan is a pathological, filthy liar.
But also, I mean, looking more into Rick Derringer, dude wrote some anthems, man.
Honestly, like, I was looking at, like, I know on our social media outlets it said Hoochie Coo and Real American, but, like, he had his hands in a lot of other things.
I mean, if your Ohio State football song, the Hang On Sloopy song, he wrote that too. Also, Air Supply's Making Love Out of Nothing at All. He co-wrote that song and then, of course, did the amazing guitar solo on there. He was in the Edgar Winter Group for a little while. Helped write Free Ride, which is probably one of their biggest tunes.
Helped write Frankenstein, which is a cool writing credit to have.
Also played guitar on Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
That one's amazing.
True Colors by Cyndi Lauper as well.
This dude was one of those guys that, like, Rick Derringer was famous. When you say the name Rick Derringer, people know who you're talking about, but still somehow underrated for all of his contributions.
Rick Derringer produced all of Weird Al's albums in the 1980s.
All right, give the man all the awards.
The only Grammy he was ever nominated for was Fat. Is that not mind-blowing? This guy did so much stuff, and the only thing he was ever nominated for was a Weird Al song.
Also tragic that he did not win because that album was amazing.
Dude, this guy wrote absolute anthems. Whether it was getting you hyped up after Hulk Hogan did a leg drop, or it was making you cry after a breakup, or a soundtrack to a kick-ass party, rest in peace to a legend.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast. Would you rather? Wednesday. Would you rather Wednesday?
All right, we got a decent amount of Would You Rather questions in here. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Someone said, would you rather see Black Sabbath or Ozzy solo?
I probably would say Black Sabbath. I mean, Ozzy solo, if nothing else, but if you could get the full experience.
I mean, I will say Ozzy did go off when he left Black Sabbath, putting like banger after banger out there. Plus, I mean, Randy Rhoads on the guitar. Like, if you pick like peak Ozzy leaving Sabbath.
The only way I say Ozzy solo is if he can still do Sabbath songs in that solo arena.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
Then you probably are getting the best of both worlds. But I think seeing Sabbath as a whole in their prime would be cool.
Someone said, would you rather smell like roast beef or be posted on the Golf Town Instagram looking at your phone?
Oh, good. I'm glad we're digging into years of memes to come out today. Fantastic.
What would you rather? Would you rather smell like roast beef or get caught on the Golf Town Instagram again?
I would rather smell like roast beef because everybody saw me on my phone on the Golf Town Instagram the one time that I was looking down to make sure the picture was working.
For anyone that doesn't know, Dolby got invited to, what was it, the 400 some?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh man, it was so cool. And then I went through the Golf Town and every photo they posted, everyone's smiling and Dolby's the only one looking at his phone.
Okay, every photo they post, there's like 2. Let's relax a little bit here. I'm glad this is tickling. And also, for the record, the roast beef thing is a lie that Brock made up because he was bored one morning.
What?
Yeah, one morning we were doing the show and he was just like, someone texted in, what do you smell like? And he's like, well, Dolby smells like roast beef, and ran with it.
I don't know why you got to make up stories like that.
Okay, here we go.
Someone said, what the hell is this? Would you rather divorce the narcissist and treat him the way he treats me, or divorce the narcissist and be the empath? I go to therapy.
Yeah, neither of us is licensed to answer that question.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's move on from that one. Would you rather have tacks for nipples or shards of glass for nipples?
Oh, I mean, tacks. Shards of glass are way too, like, jagged and uncontrolled. At least with tacks, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and then I guess if you're ever doing, like, a marathon or something, your pinny's going to stick up, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've got shards of glass, like, if you've got tacks, you're going to poke things, and that's uncomfortable. You're going to have to learn how to hug all over again. But shards of glass means anything that gets close to the front of you is going to get ripped.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up with one here. Would you rather pick door number 1 and restart your life at age 16 or door number 2 and get $1 million?
I mean, the thing about going back and like restarting your life is generally the idea is like, oh, if I only knew now what I know then. But like, you know, I'm in a happy relationship. I've got 2 amazing kids. Like, what would I change if I went back to 16? Versus living pretty comfortably if I could have $1 million right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you look back and like, sure, like teenage years were sick, but then there's also a lot of stuff about being a teenager that just sucks, man. You want to go through puberty again?
That's just it. And as soon as you make any kind of change, because you're like, oh, I remember that I did this thing on this day and it was bad, so I won't do it this time. Now you have no foresight in how the rest of your life is going to go because everything changed.
You also want to go like turn into a 16-year-old right now and like not have an idea why kids are laughing at Skibbity Toilet?
Oh, yeah, you're right. The stuff that is popular.
If you were to like turn 16 again right now, you would not fit in at all.
Yeah, when I show up in the 16-year-old me's Looney Tunes t-shirt, that's not going to work with these kids these days.
Actually, those Looney Tunes shirts seem to be back in style.
Oh, okay. Give me the 16 then. Here we go.
There you go.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Anyways, today's word is fulsome. Fulsome. Yep, fulsome. 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 And it's characterized by abundance or exceeding the bounds of good taste. How do you exceed the bounds of good taste? Like, what do you do? I'm not able to eat that. It tastes too good. It's too fulsome. No, whatever. Anyways, yep. That did about done. Have a great one.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't think that's the taste that they're telling me. This is the bounds of good taste. It doesn't mean this is too delicious. It means like decor, style, fashion, those sorts of things.
Yeah,
you know?
you're looking very fulsome today.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, yeah, like if I hit up a Mandarin and I eat too much, I'm going to be fulsome. But also, if somebody likes the look of gold leaf and puts it on all of their furniture, that would also be considered fulsome.
I do like using it for the idea of like large size or quantity, because if someone would be like, what shirt do you wear? You're like, I'm a fulsome.
I'm a fulsome. And how many X's in fulsome?
Fulsome. Use it wherever you can, all right?
Want to be a part of the podcast?
Leave a message on the Bad Line.
The Bad Line is the answering machine for the Brock and Dalby Show.
To get the number, text the word BAD to 762-555.
Thanks for listening to the Brock and Dalby podcast.